Hey, what's up? Playing some Phantom Abyss? Same. Oh, spike trap. Oh, hey man, scooch over. Sure. Hey, why'd he disappear? Well, I've got some bad news for you. Only one person can ever beat a level at this game, so if I'm here, that means you're gonna bite it pretty soon as well. How do you know I'm not gonna be the one to finish it? Well, because you got here before me. Logically, if you finished this level, then I'd be on some other level. Sorry, man. Whatever, man. I'm having a good run. No way I die. Believe what you want. Aw, come on! Told you.
There's a couple of buzzwords when you're talking about video games that always get my attention. Asynchronous multiplayer, roguelike, procedurally generated. When you have these things, I'm always very interested because it seems like there's a lot of different unique ways that publishers and developers can take these and mix them together to make something really, really cool. That's where Phantom Abyss comes in. Phantom Abyss is this really strange and unique game where you have one chance to make it through the temple from beginning to end and, come out on the other side. Now, this is my first impressions with the game. I have yet to finish a temple. I keep dying, but I'm having a lot of fun as I play through this temple. So how does the game work? Well, like I said before, it's all procedurally generated, but every version of this temple, only one player will ever in the world will ever complete that temple. And as you're playing through, you can see the ghosts of the other people who've come before you. Now, when you first load it up, it will say, this is the demon that's chasing you. And I'll get more into that in a little bit. But it'll also say this many people have died before you, or it'll say you're the first one here. And basically it is a first person, almost like parkour game where you have these spike traps and blade traps and pitfall traps where you have to try and make it through the temple alive. And if you die, then your ghost goes into other people's games until somebody finishes that particular procedurally generated temple. It's a very, very cool mechanic. The way that I've been playing, probably not the best way, and that's probably why I have yet to complete a temple. I go way too fast. And I don't slow down and watch the other ghost players to see what they do. I just have trouble making myself go slower. So as I'm playing, I can see these little ghosts, these trails left behind by the players that came before me, and those can leave me clues as to, oh, there's a treasure chest over here, or watch out, there's a pitfall trap right there. Very, very cool stuff. Let's talk about the procedurally generated stuff for a second. I feel like, yes, it is procedurally generated, but I feel like they have sat down and made a bunch of different rooms, and the procedurally generated stuff is a dice roll and then grabbing this room and putting it together with that room and putting it together with that room so that you have a unique set of rooms to go through. As I've been playing, I'm starting to notice the same rooms over and over, but in a different order. That doesn't really bother me because I'm sure that as time goes on, the number of rooms is going to expand. And I'm also sure that as time goes on, you'll be like, oh, yes, I know how to beat this room. This room has this chest over in this spot, and then I can jump along the wall on this side, which is really cool. Another reason that doesn't bother me is because different rooms are going to have a different feel depending on what powers that you have. So let's talk about the coins that you can pick up real quick. As you go through the game, you're going to find chests that will give you coins, and then you can turn those coins in a couple of different ways. You can either decide, all right, I'm going to take the 100 coins that I have right now, I'm going to use that to open a door, which will get me from point A to point C without having to go through all the dangers that are in point B. Or I can hold on to that money, go through all the dangerous stuff, to get through from A to B to C. And now I've got the money that I may not have had before. Now, why would you want to have the money? Well, throughout the game, there are going to be these little statues, and you can walk up to the statue and you can say, hey, here's my gold. Take that and give me a new power. Maybe you can have a chance to not take damage. And I feel like these are randomly generated, by the way. Have a chance to not take damage, or have a longer whip. You can use a whip like Indiana Jones does in, where he grabs stuff and then swings from it. So maybe you can get a longer whip, or you can use a double jump. And I feel like the longer that you play, the more of these powers that you're going to have, and the ways that you traverse the various rooms that are laid out in front of you is going to change based on what choices you've made as you've been playing. It's a very cool mechanic, and I like it a lot.
Hey,
What?
you didn't tell him to subscribe.
And if they want to, they will. Can I do this now? Now, the game is in early access, so there's a couple of areas of the game that I've not been able to explore yet. And those are both these social connection themes, where I can go through a dungeon that I finished, and I can share that dungeon with somebody else, with one of my friends, and say, hey, try this one, see if you can finish it like me, which is always a thing that I enjoy. I like when I can share my procedurally generated thing with somebody else's, or with somebody else, so that they can attempt to do either what I couldn't do or what I'm doing. And right now they're basically are saying it's kind of buggy, so we can't let you do that at this point. And then the other way is you can just get a direct seed. So like you can copy the exact seed that you want and try it that way. I haven't tried that stuff. I've just done the give me a random temple and run through it. And I probably won't mess around with that stuff until I've finished a temple. The graphics they've got like this Egypt feel to them. Everything looks really good in the game. I think that it's not super high detail or anything. It's definitely something that is, it's gonna, the art style is going to hold up over time, and the reason it's going to hold up over time is because they didn't go for that realism. It feels almost cel shaded, very cartoon like. I like it a lot. Another thing about the game that I like is that you've got these bosses that are procedurally generated. Now, for me, because this is just a first impressions video, I haven't had a lot of time with the game to experience how these different bosses affect the gameplay. As I was running through one instance of temple, I had a boss that was slowly chasing me, and each time that I made it from one section of the temple to the next section of the temple, that boss got faster, which is very cool because it means it forces you to not hang back and watch everybody else. You can't really, I mean, at the beginning you can, but I'm betting later in the game the boss is so quick that you can't sit back and see what other people do. You have to just go forward and react in real time as you encounter all of these different traps and pitfalls that you run into. Now, when you first start a temple, you have all of these pillars in front of you, and sitting on top of one of those pillars is a whip. And just below that whip, you can see a symbol on it that shows a symbol for a whip. And what I think is going to happen is, as I play the game more, I'm going to unlock different whips that I can use. Some will probably have advantages and disadvantages. I feel like this is completely separate from the powers that you get, because I did get a power that was unlock a longer whip, but that was not reflected when I eventually got killed and went back to the beginning. I did not see a longer whip on one of these pedestals. So I'm thinking that what's going to happen later on is you'll get other whips that have maybe one that makes you run faster, but is shorter, or one that makes you jump higher, but makes you run slower, like that kind of thing. I don't know yet, because again, this is just a first impressions video. Overall, as a first impression, I think this game is awesome, and I'm very, very impressed with it. I'm going to keep playing more, and maybe I'll post a video if I ever finish an actual temple. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time. Stay awesome.